Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome to What It Play, the channel we talk about all kinds of things like how to fix it, how to build it, how to maintain it, or product review, product comparisons, or whatever comes across my desk. In this video, I'm going to do another review on the Surpass Rocket V6, but I don't know if you've seen my last review where I ran it on the Tunalizer, got the numbers on it from when it was, without any modifications. In this video, I'm going to add titanium screws, and I'm going to add ceramic hybrid ball bearings, and then I'm also going to shim the motor as well. Throughout the changes that I make on it, I will run on a Tunalizer to see what type of a difference it makes. So first off, we'll go ahead and we'll change out the bearings first and see how this thing works out, and then after that we'll do the shimming, and then last but not least we'll do the screws. Now I only have the motor can screws because I can't find the ones, well, they didn't get delivered yet, but the ones for the timing adjustment on the back. So right now, before we start, I will show you the numbers that I have on this motor stock. So let me show you those right now. So in my first video, when I reviewed the Surpass Rocket 17.5 Spec motor, I wrote down the numbers that I got when I did the timing changes and stuff like that. This right here, I test all the motors at 7.4 volts. These are current readings, or the amperage readings, whatever you want to call it. And this is the timing settings at which I received these current settings, the kilovolts, and then the RPMs. And here is the, whoops. And here's the rest of the numbers I have. The timing points, or phase points, whatever you want to call them. M-bell deviation, the rotor symmetry, and the Hall signal deviation, and then the motor temperatures. And that's pretty much it. So what I'm going to do first with this motor, I'm going to change out the bearings. And because I'm changing out the bearings, I'm going to have to shim it. So I have to do the bearings and shimming at the same time. So let's get back to the motor. So now you saw where the numbers were before we started this test. So I just got done installing the bearings, and I also shimmed the motor. Now the Surpass motor, I just found out you cannot change out the bearing in the back because the way the circuit board is connected to the back of the motor can. You can't get the bearing out. If you know how to get it out, put it in the comment section and let me know. But other than that, I left it there, and it is what it is. The front bearing, however, I did change out to the hybrid ceramic bearing. Is it going to do much of a difference? I doubt it. It's only one bearing. Usually the bearings don't make that much of a difference anyways, noticeably. Shimming it, I don't know, let's see what type of difference we got here. So alright, 5.26 amps. The amps went up a little bit. The inbuilt timing, it's hard to keep the timing on these things because I had to take the back of it off and screw it on. So the timing was, I tried to get as close as possible. So it's 50.3. Before was 49.9. Current amperage is 5.26. Before, at the 4.9, it was, see, the current I got was 4.9. So that went up a little bit. The N-bell timing, let's see, the KVs, let's see, it was 31.34 before, now it's 31.33, so it's pretty darn close. That right there hasn't changed much. End bell deviation, that's 0.1 higher than it was before. Rotor asymmetry, that's 1.1. Originally it was 2.1, so that went down 1 degree. That's pretty big. Hall signal deviation 2.1, and it was before it was a 2.6. Motor temperature's way down, 82. Before, well, it was close to it was up there in the hundreds. That's because before, when I was running before, I was running the motor on and off a lot. So that's gonna do that. But let's see about the RPM. Let's see if anything changed there. Now, let's see here. Okay, 23,465. Before it was 23,400, so it went up minute 65 RPMs. Now, I will say this about this motor again. Also, pulling that rotor out of this thing, that was the hardest rotor to get out. I actually had to pull extremely hard to get that rotor in and out, and yeah, it was not fun. But yeah, I'm guessing this thing's gonna be a major torque monster. So next I'm going to do the titanium screws. I do have some titanium screws for the end bell that I can use, so I'm going to swap those out as well, and we'll see what difference that makes. Alright, stand by, guys. Alright, so the screws have been changed out. The screws I used for this, Surpass doesn't really have screws for it that I found, but I got the Trinity screws, the same ones that go to the slot machine, same ones I use for here. However, the end bell screws for the Surpass, they're about 2 millimeters longer than the one for the slot machine, but for this test, they'll work fine. I wouldn't recommend it for racing because, like I said, they are about 2 millimeters short. Anyhow, let's go ahead and run a test and see what difference we have here. Again, the only thing I changed on this one were the screws. So let's go. Alright, 5.16, that's about roughly the same one, same as it was before. I put the screws on, it's actually 5.17 if I remember right. Kilovolts went up a little bit. End bell timing pretty much the same all across the board. End bell symmetry is the end bell deviation 1.5 degrees. That's let's see, that's a little worse than it was before by 0.1, which not that big of a deal. Rotor symmetry, that's 1.1, pretty much the same as it was before, but it's a lot better than originally before we did these modifications. And then the high signal deviation is 2.2, which is about almost the same as last time. Temperature, it's fine. Now let's see what the RPMs that we get on this thing. About 23,500. Originally, we started off with 23,400. And before the screws, we had about 23,400 and some change. Now we're getting, so overall we got at least 100 RPMs out of it. So it's going up as high as 23,550. So my thoughts on it are for the amount of money it costs for these parts, is it worth it? You got about an extra 150 RPMs out of it. The screws and all the upgrades and stuff like that. Bearings, I wouldn't do bearings on it because you can only change out one side, and it's not going to make that big of a difference. Just change out one side. This side, the end belt side, couldn't get the bearing out because of the circuit board, like I was mentioning. So if you did get the bearing sets, I don't know if you buy them individual, but as a kit, they're roughly $25. The screw set, those are about $30 for the set. The shims, they're roughly about $8 for a kit. There was a lot of slop in this thing originally. I think I put 3 shims in it. The back side, I left the shims where they're at in the back. So my thoughts on it: I wouldn't pay $60 or whatever for all these extra things just to get 150 RPMs out of this thing. This motor, from what I've tested, is for example, test against the Trinity, was approximately 500 or 600 RPM slower. But I'm telling you, this, I have not had a rotor so hard to pull out before than this one right here. This thing is, that's a strong magnet that's inside of that. Extremely strong. So anyhow, I'm still going to do a comparison with this one here, and as well as the slot machine and the Phantom Helix. So stay tuned for that. I'll show you the numbers that I got from them, and I'll also show you things to look at on how to compare them. So anyhow, I hope you guys liked this video. If you liked it, please hit the like button and subscribe. If you didn't like it, subscribe anyways, just so you guys make fun of me. Alright everybody, you take care.